And again, you think you've heard all Metallica? Hi friends, it's Andriy Vasylenko. Back in March, I released a video that changed my life. 5 things that you might not notice in Metallica songs. I just challenged myself to create something different, and I had no clue it would blow up. You guys suggested ideas for part 2, and I'm so grateful for that. So here we are again, things that you might not notice in Metallica songs, but now it's vocals, hidden lyrics, burps, F-bombs and mixing twists. And we are starting with the very first Metallica song ever. They barely gave a shit about anything back then, and the tape literally caught that. We can find plenty of coughs, scratches, other kinds of noise on James's vocal tapes, but burping.
Hit the lights!
You remember that demolishing shot at the end of Blitzkrieg? Seems like James's stomach really wanted some exposure on Kill 'Em All. But we are not done yet with Hit the Lights. On the isolated vocal track you also can hear probably the only mentioning of a musical instrument in Metallica songs.
Hit the lights!
No introductory words, just take a listen.
Boom, the bell tolls! Fuck.
I bet you didn't see that coming, did you? Was that Hetfield or Burton? I believe that's Cliff's job. They had a bit different voice timbres.
They didn't see any hairdos or makeup or anything.
Fuck.
We do what we want to do, you know?
Fuck.
In fact, everyone sang on that album. Kirk attempted
vocals.
but who really tried singing so hard was Lars on Ride the Lightning, the song.
To die! Waken by horror scream!
He almost cracked, but maybe that experience helped him on Saint Anger sessions. Metallica had been looking for a singer up to Master of Puppets. It had taken almost 10 years for James to unleash his singing potential. We could just compare his performances on Fade to Black and The Unforgiven to see the difference. Ballad type of songs requires more control on vocals than yelling, and Fade to Black was the first challenge for James. Maybe that's why we can hear a keyboard on the vocal track.
Life it seems will fade away, drifting further every day.
Doubling vocals with the keyboard might have served a kind of reference point to hit and hold those notes. I'm not sure about it, but I don't see any other practical reason in that part. James's vocal cords were about to die on Justice for All. His singing style had been getting more and more harsh since Kill 'Em All, so it's not a surprise that the band and the producer wanted to preserve Hetfield's voice. As a result, a lot of choruses on the album were just copied and pasted. We can define it by identical coughs before every "the shortest straw" line.
Pulled for you! Pulled for you! Pulled for you!
Unfortunately, they could not do the same live, and that eventually had led to James losing his voice during the recording of the Black Album. I found a few more examples of that kind of hidden things, such as Cliff saying "it was sick" at the end of Leper Messiah. Yeah, backwards in Wherever I May Roam.
I ask no one!
And suicides in the very last chorus of Cyanide.
More!
And you know what I've noticed too? Those crazy Easter eggs in Metallica songs seem just cut after Master of Puppets. I don't know why. Because of Cliff's death, or because they had grown up or sold out, or Bob Rock simply didn't allow them hooliganism, which gives a few extra points for the statement old Metallica was better. I hope you liked this video. What did I miss? Write that in comments. Please subscribe if you are a fan of metal and Metallica, and become my Patreon if you like what I do. Thanks for watching, it's Andriy Vasylenko.
Beat metal.
You